All right, y'all. Happy Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed your day off yesterday. Maybe spend a little time learning about what Memorial Day is all about, remembering those who have made more of a sacrifice than many of us ever will. But today we're going to jump back into The Outsiders. This week, this is your week at a glance. Today, just do slides 2 and 3. You're going to listen to chapter 7 and answer a couple of questions about the chapter. Tomorrow, slides 4 and 5. Read or listen to chapter 8. It's a short chapter, only about 15 minutes as a recording. Respond to those questions on slide 5. And then your big task for this week, the way to be counted present for the week, is to create a retelling of one of these important scenes from the perspective of another character. Now, I'll show you those directions as well. So Thursday and Friday are for writing that narrative piece. You get to kind of rewrite a piece of the story. And I want you to revise it. I don't want you turning in things that have no capitalization and a lot of red squiggly lines underneath. I want you to take the responsibility to double check it, make sure it makes sense, make sure things are spelled correctly, use autocorrect, read through things, maybe show it to a peer before you turn it in to me, okay? And you'll turn it in by attaching it on Google Classroom. So Tuesday's work is pretty self-explanatory. Read the chapters and then type your answers in the boxes. Same for Wednesday, or you could do them all on one day if you would like. And again, just a couple of questions to type an answer to. Here are your directions for your larger task this week. I want you to imagine what the story would be like if it had a different narrator, if somebody else was the point of view that we were seeing the story through. Okay, so you're going to make a Google Doc, and then you're going to rewrite an important scene from the book from the perspective of a different character. Now, I've given you a list of choices to rewrite, so you don't have to go back through the entire book. You're going to pick one of these events, not all of them, one of them, and another character who was in the scene that we don't see their perspective of, and you're going to rewrite the scene from their perspective. Okay? So this could be the movie theater with Cherry and Marcia. Maybe write it from Cherry's point of view, or Marcia's point of view, or Dally's point of view. What was that character thinking? What was that character seeing? What were they doing and saying? Okay? Or it could be when Derry slaps Ponyboy, maybe from Soda's perspective. What did that fight look like from the other brother's perspective? Or the scene at the park. What did one of the Socias think? What was going through Johnny's mind? Taking on that character's perspective, etc. And then a couple of other choices as well. Just imagine for a minute, what would somebody else have said? How would somebody else have described it? And then write it out. This is some narrative writing practice. So here are your requirements for it. I want it to be at least 3 paragraphs long, about a page. I want you to include dialogue, so lines of speech from the book, so things that S.E. Hinton wrote into the story of what those characters said, as well as some new dialogue that Ponyboy wouldn't have heard. Maybe that character saying something to another character that Pony didn't hear. It's got to have at least 2 characters from the book. You don't need to make up new characters. You are revising this story, you're not coming up with a brand new one. And describe the setting. What was the weather like? What's the time of day? And you can use clues from the story to answer these. And kind of follow the plot arc in your scene. Where would it be a good place for it to start? What's the middle? How would it end? You don't want your reader, in this case me, but any reader, to feel like, okay, well, what happened or where are we? You want to set it up like an author does. Okay? So, one of these scenes from the perspective of another character, not Ponyboy. It can be in first person, like Ponyboy's narration is. 3 paragraphs, dialogue, characters, and setting are important. And then take some time to revise it. Check for spelling errors, check for capitalization. Make sure your quotation marks are around your dialogue and things like that. Try reading it out loud to yourself or whisper reading it out loud to see if it makes sense. Pause where the commas are, pause where the periods are, things like that. I do have the video here reminding you how to attach documents to the assignment in Google Classroom. So On Friday, when you turn in your work before noon, you want to turn in this slideshow with your answers to these discussion questions and turn in your narrative. All right. I will be having my regular office hours tomorrow, Wednesday at noon. And then when we do our vocabulary jams on Thursday, I will be extending those meets a little bit, and I'll have like half-hour office hours on Thursday as well at 10 and 2 because we didn't get office hours yesterday. So please let me know if you have any questions. I hope these directions are pretty clear. We're getting near the end of the book. There's only 4 chapters left, and they're pretty small ones. So I hope you've been enjoying it so far, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one.